level 1 upgrade. Meanwhile, Storm is being researched, so it looks like he's going to go away from the air and Colossus route, which is nice to see. Very innovative. Haven't really seen that too much, actually, in this matchup. Meanwhile, we have Carapace level 2 now on the way for Zerg, so tons of upgrades here. He's now essentially got that 3 upgrade advantage. Looks like the Overseer comes out to mop up that Observer, and the Stalkers are forced to blink away. You know, these Stalkers are doing a great job at pressuring. Even though they're not doing a ton of damage, at least they're keeping Zerg on the back foot. As you can see, the expansion is almost done here. Some Overlords should actually spot this, however, and then I think Zerg may finally mobilize his massive, almost maxed army here to take that out. Oh my god, but a ton of cannons are warped in there. That's probably going to stop any kind of attack. I mean, at this point, you know, Broodlords might be the best idea. The problem is that the Stalkers are so good against Broodlords with those blink upgrades that it might not be the greatest idea. Darren Amulet on the way, so the Storms are now arriving, and here come the High Templar. Will we see Archons? It doesn't look like it just yet. They still have more energy for Storms. Beautiful Storms dealing a lot of damage, and these Zerg units should not be engaging off of creep. They can be kited all day by those Stalkers. And some nice, what's that called? Shoot, is that contamination? No, corruption, sorry. Yeah, corruption going to be making these Stalkers take 20% additional damage from those units. Meanwhile, more roaches coming out to replace what was lost. We can see Zerg is clearly ahead right now. He's just banking minerals and gas. He's got a ton of income over his opponent. And he's got a slight harvester advantage as well. And looks like this expansion is just going to go down anyway. He's just going to plow through this with brute force, taking out those cannons. Meanwhile, he might be sandwiched from the side. He should back out. Those cannons will do crazy damage. And beautiful Storms take out a ton of Hydralisks. And the Stalkers blink in to finish the rest. The Corruptors should really get out of there. There's no need for them to be there. There are no more Void Rays. And it looks like Zerg's entire force just gets mopped up here. But as you can see on the production tab, Sick Macro is going to get him right back into this game. Roaches are just being rallied here from a bad rally point. A little unfortunate. We can see all his hatcheries are rallied to this point, so the Roaches will be flooding in one by one. Not a situation you want. You should really switch that. They're a much better point there. Man, this game is getting pretty epic. I'm very excited that I picked this one, and we have the Infestation Pit now on the way. Where is that? Who cares? It does not matter. The point is he's going to be able to get Hive after that, or maybe some Infestors to deal with these Blink Stalkers. And once he's at Hive Tech, he can go Ultralists or Broodlords, and that should be very good. Nice Storms doing tons of damage versus those Roaches, and the Corruptors as well. These Corruptors are actually quite useless at this point. They're really just taking up extra supply that could be used for a better ground army, and that's a little unfortunate. Overlord party in the middle here. Well, a nice attack goes for the natural, but Storm's just repelling those Roaches, and they need to get out of there as fast as possible. In this weakened state, they're not going to do very well. In fact, the Zerg player might want to invest in Burrow. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. Burrow right now will, of course, allow him to burrow those Roaches and heal them quite quickly. DTs are going to be coming out quickly as well as the Dark Shrine goes up there. Not a bad idea for a late game tech switch. When you're in a dire situation like this, I mean, Protoss has just been whittled down considerably by Zerg's relentless attacks here, and I think DTs might be the answer because, you know, you can actually get pretty lucky. If there's no Overseer in position, the DTs can do a good amount of damage, and that's, you know, that's a fact. It's irrefutable, infallible, you know, that's just how I feel. So deal with it, guys. I'm very excited today. I don't know. Reading week is just around the corner, so I thought I'd cast this, and it looks like my good mood is just getting the better of me as I'm doing a pretty amateur job here. Looks like Nidus Worms are even coming out. Nidus Networks times 2. Going to easily allow him to mobilize his units around the map to basically cover his expansions very well. You know, he's even got a couple Overlords in position, maybe Nidus into the back here where there's no spotting. That could be very good. Hive is on the way as well. Meanwhile, the massive Zerg army is going to try and deal with these DTs, but it looks like, you know, my call was right and there wasn't an Overseer in position. Now it comes in and it should be able to mop up this one. I feel like another one is somewhere. Yep, this one's just going to be coming into the natural here. Going to unfortunately spot these Nidus networks, so he should be, you know, prepared for that. Overseer's just sitting in the Protoss base at this point, doing pretty much nothing. And, you know, DT versus Queen, I think the DT wins in a one-on-one. Or maybe you just get your friend to come and finish the job. The +1 upgrade, man, those DTs do 50 damage each. And I have to say, Zerg looks like he's in an insurmountable position. I mean, if you look at the larva he's banking, he can produce anything he wants. He might just be waiting for that hive so he can max out on some tier 3 units instead of sticking with the Roach Hydra. Spore Crawler providing detection, but when that goes down, there's nothing Leaks can do, and the Queen will get taken down. So the DTs, you know, they're doing a good job taking care of the Zerg macro at this point, but he's almost maxed out anyways, and the Greater Spire is coming down, so it's going to be Broodlords, it looks like. Not a bad choice, actually. The only thing is, I've seen Carpet Storms do very well versus Broodlords. You wouldn't expect it with Broodlords being as armored as they are, but you know what? I've seen it work, and with Blink Stalker support, that might, you know, do some really good damage. We're just going to have to see. Versus this unit composition, I'd almost prefer to see Ultralisks. Could be wrong about that, though. I'm not a Zerg player, but just going by the fact that he doesn't have any Immortals out, you know, Ultras probably are going to be a good counter to this. Got a ton of more units warping in now. Well, basically the entire map has been taken at this point, save this one node, as well as the high yield here. Looks like we have... Oh, the Nidus Worm is going to be placed there, but a DT cleans it up before it can actually go down. We have more Overlords coming here. Stalker's going to deny that. Meanwhile, Protoss is mobilizing his army to the middle, and I feel like Zerg is letting Protoss get back into this game. Zerg was at a very, very advantageous position, but you know what? He sat for a little too long, I feel, and he should have maybe pressured these expansions a bit more. This one did not have cannon support. And you know what? If he did that, maybe Protoss wouldn't be back in here. You really don't want to deal with a 200 Protoss army, but you know, it's looking more and more like that's going to be the case as two Broodlords morph here. You know, I might even consider killing a few of my own Corruptors right now to get more Broodlords. But because he's pure Roach at this point, maybe he does fear some air or Colossi or something like that, so he wants to keep those Corruptors just in case. Looks like another Nidus Worm is going down. Where is this one? Going to be right here. The DT is patrolling in the wrong spot, and there's so much going on in the minimap right now. Double Nidus Worm, in fact. That's crazy. Crazy, crazy stuff. Going to be attacking from multiple locations. This one unloads and immediately targets the Dark Shrine. There are DTs, however, and a couple more are morphing in. No, those are Zealots. My mistake. High Templar here going to Carpet Storm that huge ball of roaches. Meanwhile, more damage is being dealt here. Nidus Worms from multiple fronts. This is the way Zerg was meant to be played, flooding in from every which way, and he's even banking minerals throughout this whole thing. Ultralisks are on the way, so he's taking my advice. Meanwhile, he's going to be killing all these new production facilities. The Protoss army is completely immobile at this point with the slow Templar and Archons, and they're trying to come in here and deal damage, but with the Nidus networks, he should be able to retreat very easily. So it looks like he's got more roaches here, and he should probably pull those ones back into the worm and get them over here to defend, because this impending Ball of Doom is coming. It's almost maxed out. DT support going to do wicked damage, and he's taking out the Nidus Worms. That's going to prevent all those units from coming back. That is very sad. Looks like the roaches will actually not be able to come back in time, and the entire main base of Zerg will be mopped up at this point, it looks like. Oh, that's very sad. I feel like Zerg had such a huge advantage into this, really showing you that you need to be careful. Both Nidus Worms are now gone, so there's no way these roaches can come back. They're just going to do as much damage as possible, but a massive wave of Warpins is going to prevent that from doing much. The Archons are just mopping up everything, doing 31 damage per pop, and 43 versus Biological with those upgrades. Very impressive. We have 7 Ultras on the way. The problem is that they seem to be spread over all of these bases, and they're not going to be able to group up and deal with this as well as he'd like. Looks like the Broodlords even got taken down as well. So you know what? I thought Zerg had a huge advantage here, but looking at this and what's happening, doesn't seem like that anymore. The Roach is taking tons of damage on the way out from these insane wall of photon cannons. Meanwhile, all of the tech structures of Zerg are being taken out. We have 16 Ultralisks on the way, however, and these ones are going to escape. Luckily, there's no... Oh, wait, sorry. Force fields get crushed by massive units anyways, so that's good to note. So we have 5 already spawned, 11 more on the way. I can't pronounce that, but it's one of the upgrades. And where's that Ultralisk Cavern, actually? It's over here. So that will be getting that upgrade to give Ultralisk more armor. And once that armor upgrade completes, that would be very good. He's going to engage maybe a little prematurely. The Archons do amazing damage versus Ultras, and I think this is way too early. He should have definitely waited. Why didn't he wait for the 11 Ultralisks? I will never know. Oh, that is very unfortunate. Throwing a ton of units away right there. And he's still ahead in supply, going to be burning those roaches to regain health. But that was an unfortunate loss. Now the extra Ultralisks are out, but imagine if he had 3 or 4 more at this point. That would be a very, very threatening army. Corruptors are still over here, and more units. I can't even keep track anymore. This Nidus Worm has not even been cleaned up yet, and it's actually turned into a low econ game. We can see Protoss only Sorry, Zerg is only at 900 or so, but the Ultralists are getting a nice surround on those Archons, exactly what he needed there. And with his Corruptor still alive, he should be able to deal with any Void Rays that Protoss might tech to, or sorry, that he might produce. Is there a Corrupt? Oh, sorry, there is an Overseer here, so he can deal with those. But Protoss is just ripping face with those Archons. They're doing amazing damage, and the Zealots actually aren't that bad versus Ultralists either. There's so many Archons here. I don't think this is going to be enough for Zerg to bust through this basically this impenetrable ball of Protoss units. We see this Ultralist actually. I can't even talk anymore. This is such a tiring game. The point is that Ultralist died a gruesome death, so just take that as it is. Look at these Archons. They all have amazing kill counts, and this one will probably be taken out. And there he goes, and as well as the DT. We have 30 Zerglings, 2 more Ultralists on the way. What Zerg should probably do at this point is take this expansion, but you can see he's got so few resources that there's really no way he can do that. And you know what? Crap, my Korean is a little rusty. I'm not sure what that means. You know what? Maybe it's a preemptive GG to the real one that should be coming soon. I don't think there's much Zerg can do at this point. He's clearly behind in the army count. More units are coming out for him, but you know what? Doesn't look like that's going to be enough as Protoss just continues to pound away at these forces. 3,000. Oh, maybe that's his mineral count. Yeah, it looks like it. But, you know, the gas count was inaccurate, so I'm disappointed in his lack of counting abilities. Okay, yeah, I think it's time to GG here. 91 supply versus what looks like 152. That's pretty hard to come back from, I think, and doesn't look like our Zerg player is quite ready to do that. He still has his hive. And you know what? Protoss isn't mining a whole lot anymore. Looks like he's mined out there. He's still got this base, which is good, and he's got this one. So he's 2 base Protoss versus essentially 2 base Zerg. But Zerg seems to have a lot less harvesters. That's right, he's only got half. Meanwhile, another engagement coming here, a very Zealot heavy one. Going to do very well versus the Ultralists. Do they have charge? Yes, they do, and they charge in to kill these, getting a nice surround. The Ultralists should easily go down here. More talk is just being dealt out. I wish I knew Korean so I could translate that for you guys. And there goes the GG, I think. Wait, no, oh no, that's laughing. That's LOL in Korean. I'm almost certain of that. So he thinks this is a funny situation. Well, I don't think that getting ripped apart by Psy Blades and what's this called? And Psionic Shockwaves is a laughing matter, but apparently our Zerg does. More laughter is going on. LOL, ruffle. This is funny stuff, guys. And it looks like that's going to be it for the Zerg player at this point. There's no way for him to come back, and I can say that with confidence. You don't expect a 30 supply Zerg to come back versus a 164 Protoss, and it looks like this game is just going to keep going on here. I'm not sure why he hasn't GG'd. I don't get it. Please GG so I can stop this cast. I'm really getting tired at this point, and, well, the game has been lost for quite a while now. One last push, going to take out the last base here, save the main, which is almost completely mined out, and, you know, they're friends, they're in the same clan, so they're just going to, you know, bavard away here, and, yeah, so, that's pretty much it, guys. Maybe I should just take a peek at the timer here to see what's going on. And, well, oh, good lord, will this ever end? More DTs here. Will they just please stop? Please stop. Okay, alright. I'm going to take a peek, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, good. We're good. Just a few seconds left. And so I'm just going to wrap this up here saying thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this cast. What a long game. Hopefully I can squeeze this into two parts. Looks like Zerg finally GG's and leaves. And as I said, really glad to have you all here. I appreciate that so much. Comments, always great. And I thank you very much for the thumbs up you've been giving me. That really helps, believe it or not. All those thumbs up actually make my videos a little bit higher up on some search list, I think. And so it gets me a few more views. So I really appreciate that. Anyways, thanks for watching. Peace out. Hope to see you again for another daily dose of Ownage.